Hello and welcome to the France 24 interview. The situation is getting more and more tense between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Rwanda. Congo is accusing its neighbor of supporting a rebellion by the name of M23 in the east of the country, drawing on a UN report that has also prompted several Western countries, including the United States, to suspend part of their bilateral aid to Rwanda. Kigali vividly denies the charges and has decided to withdraw the few hundred troops that were stationed in the DRC and cooperating with the Congolese military as part of a previous peace deal dating back to 2009. However, Congo claims that this withdrawal proves that Rwanda has indeed been fostering instability on its territory and wants international sanctions against top Rwandan official. Our guest today is Rwanda's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Louise Mushikiwabo. Thank you very much for coming on the France 24 set.
Thank you.
I want to begin with the charges I just mentioned. Rwanda has decided to withdraw 2 units of special forces that had been operated in Congo for 2 years with the Congolese military. However, the Congolese Minister of Information is saying this proves that Rwanda has been actively supporting a rebellion in the Congo. What's your reaction?
My reaction is that it would not make sense that Rwandan troops would be supporting a rebellion inside Congo alongside the Congolese National Army. Our units have been operating jointly and physically together with the Congolese troops. Therefore, it does not make sense that Rwandan troops will be supporting a rebellion when they're actually stationed for the last 2 years alongside Congolese troops. So, you know, a lot has been said by Congolese officials with a lot of contradiction, and this is just, I think, a reality that is difficult for the authorities in Kinshasa to explain how, on one hand, they're accusing Rwanda of fomenting a rebellion and at the same time working together to stabilize Eastern DRC.
But working together is now a thing of the past. You've decided to withdraw those special forces. They came out at the end of last week. Why did you make that decision?
I think for good reason. One is that the situation on the ground is unstable. These are troops that are in an area where there is a rebellion, so it's not the best conditions on the ground. But also we find Rwanda finds the bad faith and the lack of should I say good neighborly attitude very difficult for our troops to remain there. So we have decided to bring them home for the moment.
As I said, Congo is also demanding international sanctions against top Rwandan official, including the chief of the army staff, including the minister of defense. What's your response?
My response is that Congo needs a diversion from their own difficulties. The Rwandan officials that are named by Congo for sanctions, this is preposterous. These are the same people the Congolese have asked, and this is on the record at the beginning of the crisis, to help them find a way of pacifying the discontent troops. They have done so. Congo then turned around and said that these officials were trying to get people to defect. It's chaos.
But why did you're saying, okay, when there was a rebellion by troops who were disgruntled in the east of the country, they've called for help. And then they've turned around you and accused you of fomenting trouble. Why did this happen?
I think because Congo has very serious issues, particularly with its army. And also, and this is quite serious, Kinshasa has gotten in a mood of playing the victim. And it's nothing is ever the responsibility of Congo. And the international community has a big role to play in this. When there is trouble in Congo, it's either Rwanda or Congo Brazzaville or Angola or Uganda. I mean, this has to end. And so it's the easy card to play for Kinshasa. Also a way to hide some of the serious issues that this country has had for a number of years that are lingering. But again, I think with the enabling and environment from the international community.
Speaking of the international community, there was a report by UN experts accusing Rwanda of helping logistically with arms, with men, the rebellion of the M23 in eastern Congo. And as a result, the United States, several European countries have cut aid. So it means there are some serious charges against Rwanda. And if the United States and other countries have decided such measures, it means they believe them.
The report by the United Nations group of so-called experts is a baseless report. It is the product of a certain way of thinking about Rwanda and the history of Rwanda and the Eastern DRC. It's as simple as that, which is why we have disputed this report, which is why we had last week time to brief the Security Council. We have provided a very comprehensive rebuttal, a written rebuttal for every single allegation. And we continue to say that this report is a fabrication. It cannot be the basis for any country to take any decision concerning Rwanda.
So maybe there are additional information that the United States, other countries have about your involvement in DRC that pushed them to take that decision.
Well, then the countries should say so. If there is any other reason than the report, then that should be stated as such. One cannot take any decision on the report that we have seen that contains so much nonsense. But if there is any other basis, then the countries taking decisions should bring up that basis, bring up that information. Rwanda has nothing to hide. It should not be any taboo to say we have this information and we look at it. But
you haven't seen it.
We haven't seen it.
Britain has decided to resume aid with Rwanda. Do you think the other Western countries that have taken those sanctions against Rwanda will follow suit?
First of all, I think Britain has done the right thing. Aid is meant for development. Rwanda is a country by any standards that has done very well with aid. We have managed to combine aid with very strong ownership on the ground to deliver results for aid. That is a fact. So disturbance of the aid process really would not make any sense in this case. You can imagine every time donor countries are not happy with recipients for any reason to be able to suspend aid. So I think that was not the right decision. But I also think Britain has realized that despite the accusations, despite the bad faith of our neighbor, the DRC, Rwanda has remained very engaged in finding a solution. Rwanda will be and continues to be part of the solution. So really punishing Rwandans, ordinary citizens, and asking Rwanda to be part of the solution would not make sense either.
You think the United States will do like Britain just did?
I hope so. I hope so.
Just speaking of the solution, there is more or less a ceasefire now on the ground, and there is a project to send a so-called neutral military force to monitor the border between Rwanda and Congo. Is this something that you would accept? Because I've read that some Rwandan senior officials think this might not be happening.
Well, first of all, Rwanda is part of a regional effort, the larger Great Lakes framework, which is the right framework to support the DRC. But the solution really has to come from Kinshasa. Whatever Kinshasa wants that makes sense for the region, that is going to be sustainable, Rwanda would be part of it, as the other 8 neighbors of the DRC. Now we have a ceasefire. If the ceasefire holds, then there is no reason for combatants to be on the ground. What Rwanda is interested in prior to any force being on the ground is good verification and surveillance around its border. I think it will be good for us to have other neighbors, people in the region, witness and be part of what's going on around that border.
So you're confident that despite the back and forth between Kigali and Kinshasa, there will not be another war, but that there will eventually be a peaceful solution?
Rwanda definitely is not interested in war, and I think...
You've been to war in the past in the Congo.
Absolutely. We have had a very difficult history with Congo. Remnants of a force, of a militia that killed 1 million people in Rwanda fled to Congo. So there is a history. So we've had to fight war, but we've also made peace. We have enjoyed 4 years of stability and peace. We have protected our territory. We have secured our strategic interests, particularly our security along the eastern DRC border with Rwanda, working with Kinshasa. And that is what we want to get back to.
So in a word, do you still trust Joseph Kabila?
Oh, you know, one has to trust their neighbor. We are neighbors. We will stay where we are. And we also think that, you know, these crises in the DRC are very common. Unfortunately, it's becoming cyclical. So this is not the first time we have had this situation of volatility. But there is no reason why this cannot end, just as the others have ended.
Okay, thank you very much for coming on the France 24/7, and thank you all for watching this edition of The Interview.